Hey, Chris Pratt here.
Hello, watashi no namae wa Bryce desu.
Oh, see, we just want to say we love you, Japan, and thank you for going to see Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
We're here at Kualoa Ranch, and I'm looking around at where we shot this film, and there's a lot of difficult action sequences that come to mind, but one of them in particular was running down this hill over and over again, from the top to the bottom, which is not dissimilar to, say, skiing, but with no skis and no snow.
Yeah.
And no more knees.
Yeah. And it's the weather here is really exciting because you can't really predict necessarily what's going to happen from moment to moment, and so like suddenly like you're in this. I mean, there's a reason this is so green because there's a lot of rain that happens,
that's right.
And so it was very, it would get kind of like treacherous, I guess, and then that over there. That's where the gyrosphere falls off the cliff, which then leads into the next exciting sequence.
Which is an action sequence that we did underwater, which was shot in London on a soundstage in a big tank. That took about a week. That was probably the most complex and challenging in terms of technique.
Yeah.
This was, out here running down these hills, was the most physically challenging, grueling on the joints in the body. J.A. is an amazing filmmaker. Working with him was a real treat. He's very collaborative and open. He's the kind of editor, he's the kind of director, I think, in my experience seeing him, where he's really, really strong in the edit.
Yes.
He polishes this movie and he adds the right music to make it feel very cinematic, to make that claustrophobic feel. Everything that happens in the third act that feels like a confined horror, element that's slightly more nightmarish than what you were used to seeing in Jurassic films. That's a result of him working tirelessly on this thing for years. It was great working with him.
Yeah, he's a real artist. Like he's someone who pushes cinema forward, and that's something that, I mean, that's what Jurassic Park, the original movie, was largely known for. I mean, it's an incredible movie and quite a ride, but it was a groundbreaking moment for cinema, and with the technology that was available, and what could be created, and what kind of, the different ways that you could scare people, and that magic trick. And I think that J.A. Bayona really is someone who honestly and organically is ambitious in that way. He's cinematically ambitious, and this is the perfect sandbox to play in. Nothing's hard, nothing's difficult working with this guy.
True.
Everything is easier when I get to work with this guy.
Yes, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Working with an actor is by far easier than creating, the illusion of working opposite a dinosaur, which in this film, the dinosaurs are real characters. They're not just, it is different than the previous films. The dinosaurs in the previous films were dinosaurs. They were something you could stare at and wonder, and you could marvel in their splendor, or you could be terrified and run away from them.
They could eat you.
They could eat you, but in this, and it's evolved a little bit we have, like, especially Blue, there's an interactive relationship with these animals that are treated a little more like characters than just monsters. So it was, in that regard, it's much easier creating that relationship with a person than it is with like a puppet or a CGI.